Ladies and gentlemen, pay attention. This is your boy, the coach from the WWE. I would like to welcome you to the very first wrestling podcast in the world to take you on a weekly deep dive into classic matches along with legends of the squared circle. Enjoy the discussion. Enjoy the back and forth. There's so much to get into. Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Payoff.
Welcome to an all-new episode of The Payoff. I'm Tom. That's Jeff. Cyber Sunday, Batista, Jericho, and a very, very special guest referee. How'd you pick this match, Jeff?
Yeah, why not? This is, again, as we always do, the kind of pushing up on an anniversary here, but also just from what I could tell, a good match overall between these two guys. Still involved, like Batista, always in the news with the movie career. Chris Jericho, of course, doing what he's doing over in AEW. But then, when I saw the special guest referee on this one, hard to pass up, Oh, sorry, lost you there, right? You hear me?
We're good.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I just thought overall, just a good pick for all these guys to be involved. I'm always a big proponent of the Cyber Sunday as well, too. So, yeah, just really nice.
Well, I know you're a big Cyber Sunday mark. We got 3 Hall of Famers in the ring, so nothing that I'm concerned with. I think this is going to be a fantastic match. Be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Probably some shenanigans. So I'm pumped to cover this one. Let's jump into the build.
Oh, it's time for the build.
All right. So ironically, this was in Phoenix, Arizona in 2008. I didn't go to this show. I don't know why I didn't go to this show.
Were you out there at that time?
Yeah. Moved in 2006. So I'd remember if I was at this show. I don't think I was. So October 26, 2008, Phoenix, Arizona, 8,000 in attendance. I mean, not a great crowd.
Not a great crowd. Yeah.
Buy rate of 153,000. So here we go with this card. These shows were always fun. Dark match is Shelton Benjamin retaining his U.S. championship against R-Truth. We start off the show in a no-holds-barred match, Rey Mysterio defeating Kane. Matt Hardy's going to retain his ECW championship against Evan Bourne. John Morrison and The Miz are going to defeat Crime Time in a tag team match. The Honky Tonk Man is going to defeat Santino Morello by DQ for the IC championship. So what about that? We never cover Honky Tonk Man, and now here we are talking about him 2 weeks in a row. And, of course, this match took place 21 years after the match we covered last week.
Yep.
In a 20-minute – sorry, go ahead.
As I say, I did not pick this match over that match. Sorry. Next time I'll add it to the list, the 1 minute match. Yeah.
We need to cover that match. We could have covered that match while we were doing the aftermath. The Undertaker – is going to defeat the Big Show in 20 minutes in a last man standing match. Triple H is going to defeat Jeff Hardy to retain the WWE Championship. And then the main event, Batista, Chris Jericho, where the fans are picking the special guest referee, and their options are Randy Orton, Shawn Michaels, or Steve Austin. Wonder who they pick.
I wonder. Yeah. Yeah, good stuff overall. Like this one too. I see this was the highest rated match, or it's kind of tied actually. It looks like there's with the match before it, the Triple H Jericho or Triple H Hardy match. So you had that as well too. But this one, so we'll start with Chris Jericho on this one. So like this kind of laying the timeline out as I like to do. October 26, 2008 is when this show took place. We're gonna go back to SummerSlam though. As we all know, he was having the feud with Shawn Michaels at this time. He had the eye damage. He was gonna have to retire. That Jericho Jericho, never achieve Michael's success, and so you had him attacking him. This was the storyline where Jericho punched Michael's wife as well too, if you remember at that point. So they ended up having a match at Unforgiven. Jericho lost that one because Michaels beat the crap out of him so bad. But then you had him later that night. Actually, he was in the championship scramble. He was a late replacement actually for CM Punk, who he ended up winning the title, but he had defeated Batista, JBL, Kane, and Rey Mysterio. And so, but with that, so he ended up just before this, though, you had Michaels and Jericho for the championship. That was a ladder match at No Mercy. Jericho ended up this one. So he had been feuding with with Michaels in the lead up to this. Batista on the flip side, though, we'll go back a little bit further here to August. You had Batista and Cena. They actually won the World Tag Team Championship, beating the tag team of one Cody Rhodes. I wonder what happened to that guy, and Ted DiBiase. I do wonder what happened to that guy. It was actually Batista at the time would have been a 3-time World Tag Team Champ with Cena at that point. So the next week they lost the titles back. And then because of that, they had their face off. They had to be separated, of course. That's how this always plays out and works out. So Batista, though, beat Cena at SummerSlam. You had Cena getting hurt in that match with his neck. But then you had Batista going forward, competing for that World Heavyweight Championship. Like I said, there was the scramble match. He was a part of that. Jericho winning that one, though, in really the last couple of seconds, like we said. So fast forward a little bit. This is a name we haven't talked about in a while here. You had the Raw general manager, Mike Adamle, announcing that there would be the heavyweight championship of Chris Jericho defending his title against Batista, in which the guest referee would be voted on by the WWE fans at this Cyber Sunday show. So, as you said, the candidates were Randy Orton, Shawn Michaels, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Of course, getting the Rattlesnake as the winner here by a lot. So I get it. And so, yeah, that's how we get this match. So a little bit of back and forth between these guys. Obviously, having the scramble match played a big part in that. It was actually a landslide here. Stone Cold got it by 74%, Michaels 22%, and Randy Orton only 4%. Sorry, buddy. So, but overall, good stuff. And so, enjoyable to see. Of course, we're not going to ever pass up an opportunity to see Stone Cold, Cat Dad Stone Cold. So I'm ready for this one if you are, man.
This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure it'll be a good match. I find it interesting that this was the main event. So I'm sure they're going to deliver and go all out. I'm very excited for this. It is the 2-hour and 21-minute mark of the show. We are Cyber Sunday 2008, Season 1, Episode 1. Jeff, are you ready?
I am ready. Let's do this.
All right. It's time for the payoff.
Ho! It's time for the payoff.
Foremost in your mind, and you can tell by the look on Jericho's face, that's all he's thinking about.
Starting off hot.
A 6-time WWE champion.
This may not take long.
Austin Jericho having a good stare down. Man, it's just hard for me to believe, given that he was still involved in the company, he's never been out of shape, that Austin never wrestled for all those years. Mm-hmm. I mean, remember, that was 19 years.
Yeah.
So it's
crazy.
Just wild. And this was kind of in the middle of it. But I mean, you look at him and you're like, you're involved in the product. You're still, I mean, Steve Austin has never not gotten the biggest pop since his prime. So since WrestleMania 19, when he retired, there has never been a show that he has been on where his music did not elicit the biggest pop, which is just wild to think about. I mean, if the glass breaks at the next PLE, it will get a larger ovation, whether it's announced that he's coming out or it's a surprise, which is just pretty wild to think about.
It really, I mean, who other than like maybe
disqualified or counted out, you retain the title, but
So he's telling Jericho what? If you're disqualified or count out, then I'm taking the title off of you.
Because Jericho's just trying to leave. Yep.
Well, I have to be honest with you. I'm not a fan of changing the rules.
Yeah, it's interesting. I get it. It's for all of it, so they can actually have a match, and it adds a little bit to it.
All right, so Austin counting him out here.
I appreciate for the younger crowd here. Up on the screen, the Titantron right now, that would be a phone keyboard for the kids at home. Like, for those that don't know what it looks like. So I appreciate that. So you have Jericho. Here we go, and Batista laying him out right away.
So let's see here. We'll go through the voting for this show.
Yeah,
they voted on the opponent for Shelton Benjamin. R-Truth beat Festus and MVP. The stip for Kane Mysterio, no holds barred over falls count anywhere or 2 out of 3 falls. Matt Hardy opponent was Evan Bourne over Finley or Mark Henry. The tag team. So this is interesting. We
didn't know what we were getting. Yeah.
The tag team match was John Morrison and Miz versus Crime Time. The runner-up, this is great. The runner-up was Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase versus CM Punk and Kofi Kingston.
Boy.
For all you fans in 2008.
Yeah, what were we doing?
Yeah. Santino Morella's opponent was Honky Tonk Man. By 1%, he defeated Roddy Piper. Goldust was third. Stip for Big Show Jericho is last man standing over I Quit or Knockout.
I just don't like an I Quit match. Like, it's hard to do right, and it's just not a fan. Yeah.
Triple H's opponent was Jeff Hardy. He could have also been Vladimir Kozlov or a triple threat of Jeff Hardy and Vladimir Kozlov. And then we voted on the special guest referee. I know you and I say this all the time, but it's just really hard to believe they have never brought back this concept. I mean, even if you just ran it all on Twitter or, you had to go to the website or you had to text something, I'm shocked that they haven't ever done that.
Yeah.
I mean,
it'd be so
do
easy.
Something every week. You could do something where you ran like a poll or something.
Sorry, you caught me looking up images for the next match that you're going to talk about. But yeah, this is one that overall, like, you just really like. It's almost like so easy. It's just out there. Like, there's no reason to not add some kind of, and it doesn't have to be a full pay-per-view. Like, maybe you do something. Try something different. And I think nowadays, like I don't know. I'd be interested to kind of look up in 2008. I'm wondering, was it phone call? Was it text? Like, exactly how they were, like, Twitter wasn't a thing.
I would guess this was you went on to the WWF website.
That's what I would think too.
I'll look it up. I would assume that's.
Yeah, it says could vote on aspects.
WWE's website and by text message.
So I'm wondering, like, especially nowadays, like, you can do a poll right on Twitter, and I get that, like, that could be kind of hacked in some way. You could build some bot to vote some weird way, but that's part of it. But okay, or do a quick, next week, like, they would probably get more vote if they, like, Monday night. They announce that. On the following Monday, they're going to do 2 matches that the fans vote on. They would probably get more votes in a week than they ever did for any of this stuff. And they can keep it secret. I don't care about that, but, like, do a quick Twitter, like, hey, submit, or use hashtag this, hashtag that, like, get some engagement. Like, even one wrestler could tweet it out and you would get, like, more responses than you would for other things. Yeah.
I don't want to say critique, but one thing I've noticed about the Triple H era is very, very rarely are we bringing back legends.
Yeah.
It just feels like there's less use. I mean, like, you think of, like, all the legends and retired guys that were on this show. And it just felt like during this era, I mean, Honky Tonk would drop in and Roddy Piper, and, like, that was kind of common. And now I don't know. There's a lot of like even like the PLEs. I mean, it's rare that they're doing anything. I mean, I guess like, they had Trish involved in Toronto and you get a little bit of that, but not much. I
Yeah.
don't just a thought there.
I
Man,
think
this
that,
was good.
go ahead. I was gonna say, I think you need that, or you don't need it. You and I've talked about that a lot. I think that you use it sparingly to tell a story, or you get someone involved that way. But I think Triple H knows that he's got a deep enough roster. Like, okay, I'm gonna try and get a younger guy over, and if he doesn't, like, sorry, Karrion Kross. Like, okay, then I tried, and boy, I tried to throw everything, and fans are just not buying into you. Like, okay, like, do I bring back a legend and kind of burn that on Karrion Kross to try and get him over? Like, I don't know. I don't think so. And so, I'm sure more people are on speed dial for Triple H than are with it, or that would have been for Vince to take that phone
Yep.
call. So who knows who we'll see? But I just don't think it's needed.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that. It's wild during this era. Like I I will never know the answer, although I just suspect the answer is just his personality. But like Vince just did not do long-term booking during this era. Like it just
Yeah.
not there. Like right now, I mean, they probably have a decent idea where they're headed for WrestleMania. I'd say in general, I would imagine they're probably always booking 90 to 120 days out. They're looking at these PLEs and going, okay, well, we got to fill a stadium for SummerSlam, but then turn right back around and do an international PLE. So you have to have those. You have to have a pretty good idea, like, of your Saudi show and your Survivor Series show, your Wrestle or your Royal Rumble and your international PLE and your Netflix debut. Like you have to have this longer term vision, which
Yeah.
Vince just didn't have. And it's like, I mean, to me, if I was working on the writing team, it'd be the worst job in the world because
Yeah.
you're just at the whim of this maniac who is calling you at 2 o'clock in the morning, changing scripts, versus now you're sitting there going, all right, so hey, it'd be pretty wild if we could get Rock and Roman in the ring at WrestleMania. Okay, well, how in the hell do we get there? Well, gosh, a Bloodline Civil War at Survivor Series, or, hey, maybe we build to Punk getting the title at WrestleMania so he wins Rumble and we can, I mean, right, like it's got to be so much more enjoyable than just flip-flopping titles. Like just for the hell of it, I looked at the pay-per-view after this one that we're covering now. It was Survivor Series 2008. Listen to what a shitty pay-per-view this was. So Team HBK versus Team JBL in a Survivor Series match. Who cares? Team Raw versus Team SmackDown of the women. Okay, so blue shirts, red shirts, who cares? Undertaker and Big Show again in a casket match. Team Orton versus Team Batista. Some decent talent in the match, but again, that was just thrown together. Who cares? Edge is going to defeat Kozlov and Triple H to win the world title. And then Cena and Jericho is your main event for the other championship, the World Heavyweight Championship. So, I mean, it just wasn't good.
Yeah, and you talk about the long-term booking, I would think, that, well, what was it? I think it was October in that Behind the Curtain where they said they thought they had the Mania card locked in. So that was 5 months. We'll just say 6 for the sake of having it. And so you figure they're having preliminary talks right now about WrestleMania. They may have 1 or 2 locked in. But I also wonder, like, okay, are they going to pivot again? Like, I don't see how anyone else, there's no one that's going to come back that's going to change, like, the Rock or Roman or wherever they end up, whatever direction they go. But I think that, like, yeah, they have to. And I think I think something, you talked about the legends not coming back. I think something else that we're seeing is way more willingness to go international. in any capacity.
And that's all Nick
like,
Khan. That's not Triple H. That is all Nick Khan from a business decision saying the growth of this company is tied to international. But it's no different with the Live Golf stuff.
Yep.
PGA ignored international, and guess what? Liv's creating an opportunity. They're going to Shanghai, and they're going to London, and they're going to Spain, and
everywhere.
Yes, and that's smart. Netflix. You listen to their investor calls. Everything's international. They're like, everyone in the United States that has a Netflix account has a Netflix account. So we're growing internationally. Look at NFL. Do you think they're going to London and Germany and for the hell of it? No. And if it was easier to host more events there, they would. You just logistically, it's tough to have a franchise, in London. But they're doing everything they can to grow the game internationally. Baseball, because of Otani, they're doing a lot in Japan. They've been trying to do that for a while. Ichiro as well. So, but Vince couldn't have done it.
No.
Vince didn't have a CEO that could do it. Triple H couldn't do it. You need a Nick Khan. And now with the power of UFC and TKO and Ari Emanuel and everything they're doing, like, dude, it's just getting started. You're going to get your London WrestleMania. That half or more of these PLEs are going to be overseas. It sounds like the Saudi deal is going to get extended. So that's not going away. That's the future. And there's probably a whole nother level to this too of, where are we not even thinking of? Could you have a pay-per-view in India? Could you end up in Japan, China, South Korea? I mean, where does it end? It's just unbelievable what they're going to be able to do to this thing. And I'm sure they have a 5 to 10 year vision for it. And being tied in with Netflix makes this plug and play because Netflix is everywhere. And if they're not everywhere, they're going to be everywhere in the world with an internet connection. So, could it be, not that you want to put all your eggs in one basket, but gosh, are you going to end up with the Peacock stuff on Netflix? And, you got Raw on there. I mean, it's pretty wild, man, what's going to happen. So
I think,
Austin just took a bump.
Yeah, big bump.
Yeah.
Jumped outside. Well, not that. Yeah, like you talked, they met with London. Like, why are they going to tweet the photo with Sadiq Khan, like the London mayor, if they're not going to London? Like,
they've already shaken hands. It's just a matter of the logistics and the year and.
Yeah, and are you going to do like they do a lot? You're going to do a week event. Probably. Here comes Michaels out, the number 2 referee. Yep, going for the pin. Oh, going to count? Nope, not going to count. Of course, this speaks to the kind of feud that they had. Michaels, the longest, there was one. There's 2. Yep, the longest. Oh, boy, yep. Oh, sorry. Great. Michael's just being the heel here. But, yeah, it's definitely going to happen. Like you said, I 1,000% agree with you on, like, I don't have Netflix right now, but I will. Like, I'm already gearing up to add that subscription. And so I think it's just one of those things that, so Michaels went for the super kick. Didn't happen, and then Batista hit him with the spear. And I got JBL getting involved with the big clothesline. Yep, and Austin climbing back into the ring or trying to. Yep. And again, these guys, this all plays off back to that championship scramble where they were all involved. Yep.
Do you have a wish list of stuff you want to see on the Netflix Raw? I mean, I think we're kind of all in agreement that we want a 2-hour version or something that's a lot less than 3 hours. Obviously, no commercials would be helpful. So I guess that's probably video packages because some people will have a commercial tier on Netflix. It'll be like Peacock where you'll either get a promo video or you'll get a commercial.
I will take, of course, like swears. I'm looking forward to swear words. There's Orton now, the other referee. I would like just change up the presentation a little bit. Yeah. I feel like we have, and there's only so much you can do, I get, because of how just wrestling is, but I don't know, maybe some different camera setups. Like, there's some different. I mean, we're always used to the hard cam, but
I think we're going to get it. I think
know,
we're going to get all that. I think they've already got that stuff mapped out. Triple H said that they were going to slowly roll out these changes so there wasn't shock. Orton takes a stunner. I mean, look at Austin. He looks freaking fantastic.
Orton, good sell on the stunner. Well, that was the camera shaking there too. Yikes! Yeah. Oh, Jericho bumping. Yep. Austin.
Austin took a great bump. I mean, he's like in good. I mean,
he's bumping hard in there.
How is Austin not working a match like this year, right? And almost every year they hit him around WrestleMania.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it's like a text of like, from Triple H to him, just like, want to do this? Like, there you go.
Here's your winner, and
fans going crazy for Batista.
Heavyweight champion, Batista.
Stone Cold Steve Austin counts the shoulders of Chris Jericho down, and Batista, the new world heavyweight champion.
Great theme song.
Luck has run out on Chris Jericho.
Yeah, we still need his Hall of Fame induction, huh?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Batista's exhausted.
Yeah, I'm going to guess it's going to be this year, but yeah.
We'll get it soon.
We'll get there. Yep. Okay.
All right, that's it.
Yeah.
Let's get to the aftermath.
Ho! It's time for the aftermath.
What'd you think?
That was great. Good little match. Like I said, the callbacks to like some of that scramble, and how they, playing off of that. I think just doing it a little different here. It wasn't overdone either. I didn't think it wasn't overbooked. You still got the Batista winning, which I thought was pretty good. Like I just thought it was good stuff overall. I thought. How about you?
I liked it.
Yeah. Big gold belt too. Batista walking around with that. The great belt. So this one, unfortunately for Batista, a short-lived hot shot the belt here. It was only 8 days when Jericho won the title back. It was actually a steel cage match. It was the 800th episode of Raw, November 3rd. You then had him actually entering into a feud with his, who at the time was his Evolution partner, Randy Orton. At Survivor Series, you had the team of Batista, CM Punk, Kofi Kingston, Matt Hardy, and R-Truth taking on Team Orton, Shelton Benjamin, William Regal, Cody Rhodes, and Mark Henry. You had Orton actually winning that one, his team, when Orton pinned Batista. And then they continued. They had a match at Armageddon where you had Batista beating Orton. So 50-50. And so this was the era for that. So that happening. So that was how that kind of played out. Jericho on the flip side, though, kind of that goes back to that Michaels feud, ended up in a last man standing match on Raw. You had some interference from JBL. Jericho lost the title actually at Survivor Series to the returning John Cena at that point. And then ended up losing at that Armageddon, of course, where Batista beat Orton. You had Cena Jericho losing his rematch to Cena for the championship at Armageddon. So overall, good stuff, just kind of playing out just how they were all, it was how it was. So this year, 2008, Batista was 15. Chris Jericho was 29. The Wrestling Torch on this one gave it 3.25 stars. Solid main event match. Good usage of Austin and getting Michaels and Orton into the mix as well. Batista's title win is the big story coming out of the show. On the show, Jericho was booked as a somewhat pathetic champ, desperate to find someone to help him against Batista. I think a more effective heel champion persona is one who's cocky, perhaps obliviously so, or just genuinely overconfident. A top heel world champion needs to have cred as opposed to an intercontinental title holder. So just a little weird little take there. Observer newsletter on this one. Overall, this was a decent show. More thumbs up, 59%, in the middle, 24%, thumbs down, 15%. The best match, and this was by a long shot, this was not. You had Matt Hardy and Evan Bourne was first. Triple H and Jericho was second. Batista and Jericho only getting 14 votes, coming in third on this one. And so interesting, but kind of normal write-ups as we would see. Batista pinned Jericho in 17 to win the title, the voting, yada yada. Yeah, so 3.5 and 3.25 is what we got on this one. So the Torch gave this one 3.25. The Observer gave this one 3.5. Where are you going to put this one?
I had it a 7. I thought it was a pretty good match. I like the 3 different refs coming in. You know, that stuff can be messy and awful, but it can also be fun. And I thought it was fun. I mean, it's Shawn Michaels who fit the story. It's Randy Orton who fit the story. It's Steve Austin, JBL out there. We're building the Survivor Series. I really liked it.
Yeah, absolutely. This one, I'm right there with you. I'm a 7.5. I think that it was good. It was a good little story. I think that you do need to know a lot. So like just to go back and watch this one kind of cold, you need to know that kind of payoff, or excuse me, the build and kind of what was happening. Cause like, why is Randy Orton in here? Why is Jericho in here? Like why, or why is, Michael's in here? Like it just got a little confusing from that perspective, but overall though, it was not bad by any means. So, yeah, good stuff. So, remind everybody, as we always do every week, manscaped.com, using that promo code payoff, giving you 20% off and free shipping. Everything you put in your cart at manscaped.com. They got all kinds of new bundles. Check our ads for kind of what, or our social media to see what they have. But if you're just trying to get something little, maybe you just want to start off with a lawnmower, keep your balls looking good. That's okay too. Maybe you want to go big. You're a traveler out there. You need something when you're on the road, on the go. It'll look good. You can get that as well too. Don't buy that cheap stuff off of Amazon or anything like that. Go and get the good stuff. So manscaped.com. So, yeah, with that, what do we got next week? We've got a ladies match next week. We're going a little bit Divas era, if you will, for the Divas Championship. Hell in a Cell, Charlotte taking on Nikki Bella, and so we're going to focus on that. But then I'm looking forward to this. We got October should be good here because then we got DX taking on the Legacy, another Hell in a Cell match. And then again, we can't stay away from guest referee Stone Cold Steve Austin. We got Kane and The Undertaker with guest referee Stone Cold Steve Austin in your house. And so it should be exciting stuff to close out October this month.
Looking forward to it, man. Looking forward to it.
Boy.
So this was
December. Yep.
This was a fun one. I certainly didn't remember it existing. So I love covering some of this stuff with Hall of Famers that we just don't even remember because they produce 1 million hours of television a year for decades now. So a lot of this stuff we've never seen or forget that we ever saw. So that was fun. Appreciate everyone listening. And as always, we'll see you next week on an all new episode. Almost 300 now.
Getting close.
The Payoff.